good.
That's great.
That's great. It's fantastic.
Guess what we are?
We are on air.
No.
No?
We're actually
Live.
Nice.
Okay.
Dude, we do have an interesting topic today.
We do.
Especially, I was going to wear my sweatshirt that I got.
Yeah.
But
it is a nice sweatshirt. It's just not particularly advantageous to what we're currently embarking on.
Yeah, you can't really have a green sweatshirt when you have a green screen.
Well, it's not green for them.
Well, I know that. Well, there is no greens for you guys.
No.
1,000%.
There's just a floating logo right here at all times. Actually.
At all times. Spins. I don't even know where it's spinning. We're not even. Anyways.
I can see it. Can you not see it? You can see it.
I can see them post at it.
I can see it right now.
Can you?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Well, it's white.
Yep.
And it's a black screen.
Yep.
And it's spinning. Oh, there it goes again.
Yep.
And again.
Yep.
And yep.
Yeah. You guys check out our YouTube. See how Gavin and I spend a lot of time on a lot of this stuff. So
don't tell them what to do.
Check out the YouTube.
Check it out. Check it.
But no, this is a really big time for Philly because the last time we were in the Super Bowl and won was 2018.
Yeah, February 3rd, 2018.
Yeah, no, it's
I think it's February 3rd,
4th. Thanks, guy. But no, I'm really excited because when this happened, it was really kind of crazy for everyone, especially with I was in high school when that was going on.
Oh,
yeah, we're old, dude. We are.
I
old.
was not in high school.
It's all right.
I was almost 2 years removed from high school.
Yeah, no, it was wild because people were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the parade. We're gonna do this, and this." Like they were greasing the poles.
You didn't even deserve to go to the parade then.
What?
You couldn't name one player besides Foles.
Who's Foles? No, I'm joshing. No, Drake.
Go ahead. Name one more player today after Foles.
Jason Kelly.
No.
Kelsey. Wow. Holy shit.
No, I'm saying on that team.
What team? Which
on
team?
The 2017 Birds.
2017. Why did I say 2018? That's embarrassing.
Well, it was a 2017 season, but they technically won in the year 2018.
I can't remember. JJ.
One more.
Dude, I couldn't tell you. It's been a long time, first of all.
Oh,
Second
really?
of all, I also was not... For you guys to know, you guys should have seen how rough it was for us to talk about sports in the earlier episodes.
Yeah, it was
when I knew
ridiculous.
Nothing. Like I played football, I wrestled, I did track. Like, I'd be
like, yo, did you see what Jalen Hurts just did? And he'd be like, for the Seahawks,
for the Seahawks, for the Flyers,
the Flyers. Speaking of other Philly sports, the Sixers, man, the Sixers are 22-5 over their last 27 up to this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the Sixers are turning a gear because the Sixers were like, it was one of those things where it was like they were not so good a couple months ago, and they were going like win one, lose one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just like turned a corner, and now they're just.
Well,
they're just
see, that's the thing with Philly is like you see the traction kind of happening because I know when the Phillies went to the Super Bowl.
Nope,
obviously,
nope.
Or World Series. Holy shit, Skylar, you keep laughing. I swear to God. No, but when they were going to the I almost said it again, to the World Series, I know like everyone on like Twitter and like Instagram and TikTok and everything, they're like, Philly's going everywhere. We're going everywhere. We're going to the Stanley Cup. We're gonna go to like and it was cool. It was cool.
You know what I really like? I really like flowers. So if you wouldn't mind giving me my flowers for calling the Phillies making it to the World Series, I'd appreciate it.
You did call it.
Yeah,
you called it.
I did.
I forget which episode it was. I'll if I have time, I'll look for it. I'll put it up. But Gavin did call it. He goes, "Yo, we're definitely going to the World Series. It's going to be wild." We had, I forget the amount of wins we had at the time.
It was either right being the beginning or right before the playoffs.
No, I know it was before the playoffs because people were like kind of dogging on us, and you're like, dude, I don't know, man. We're looking really good. And then when we were getting into the playoffs, you were already solidified we were going to the World Series.
Yeah. Well, I knew we were just the best team ever. Fortunately, we didn't win the World Series because, the refs or the umpires were cheating, but...
That's my... oh, my gosh. Like I said to you the one day, I was seeing all these clips, and I'm not talking like one or two. I'm talking like 10, 11, 12 clips of umpires just messing things up.
That's why they're going to robot calls or umpires.
Yeah, it was, and then like I remember, like, I texted you the one time. I'm like, I am pissed because it wasn't even like MLB games. It was like college games. They're throwing people out. They're doing all this stuff, and I'm like, they really have a lot of power.
They have way too much power, I think, in the MLB.
Yeah, and it wasn't cool. I really didn't appreciate it, and it was rather annoying, if I'm being honest. And yeah, dude, it was.
But
I don't know why.
I digress. Yeah, so for what's funny about the Eagles this year is like what's weird about the Eagles and like being an Eagles fan is like I feel like you go through so much you go through so many different emotions.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Because like the thing with Philly, and it's like I feel like it's all Philly sports besides the Flyers. The Birds, for example, right? We start off the year hot. So we come before the season starts. Everybody's like, all right, listen, like, fire Howie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we blow it up. Like, we made the playoffs last year, but we don't have enough talent, yada, yada. Miles Sanders isn't explosive enough. Devontae Smith is a rookie, and he's only, he's good, but he's not going to be enough. Dallas Goedert's good, but he's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts isn't the guy, all this stuff, right? And when the season started, we went like, I think we were like 4-0.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, man. This team looks really good, but I still, even admittedly, I still was a little on the fence. I was like, because we signed A.J. Brown, we signed Hassan Reddick, James Bradbury, Kazir, we drafted Kazir White, Jordan Davis. We got a lot of talent all at the same time, and like it was ridiculous, really, because you think about it, it's like the Titans are dumb. The Titans are the dumbest thing. Like even if, like for example, right? Even if the Eagles, which we should have been in a rebuild, even if, but Howie's just that guy. Even if we were in a rebuild, and we had we would, I don't think we would ever say, oh, we'll give you Devontae Smith for 2 draft picks.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. You know what I mean? So they were like, yeah, we'll just give up our star wide receiver, and then for what? For nothing. Yeah. And then so, but yeah, and then we it was we could really see who was a true fan and who was not a true fan when the Birds lost to the football team.
Oh my.
Because we lost that game, and I remember on Twitter it was all these Eagles fans, and what surprised me the most, because you obviously, like, as an Eagles fan, you'll always see this on your timeline on Twitter. It's always Dallas fans, it's always the national media. They're always like, oh, Birds are frauds, yada yada. They thought we were frauds when we went down 14-zip against the Jaguars.
Dude, we had a I think it was a 7-game winning streak. 8 win winning streak, and people were like, they're frauds, and we're like, okay. You're going to tell me these guys are top in their division.
Yeah.
They have these players. Everything that would, like, if, like, let's say the Bengals or whatever team, what's the Bucks or whatever, they would beat these teams. Oh, they beat a really good team, but Philly beats them. Beats them by a good margin.
That's what happened with the Vikings.
Yes.
So when we beat the Vikings, they were like, oh, well, the Vikings aren't that good, yada yada. And then the Vikings went on to be like, what were they, like 13-3?
Yes,
something like
13-4.
13-4.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And I'm like, every time the Eagles. That's the thing is, whenever the Eagles win, they have to discredit them
every time.
And then every time they lose, it's always like compounded upon. So like when the Eagles lost to the football team, everybody in the media was like, the Eagles might be 8-1, but just like the Vikings, they don't look like, or at the time, they were saying like, oh, the Vikings are 8-1, which right along with them, and the Vikings look like a much superior football team. They might have lost in week 2, but they look like a far superior team. And I'm like, and then and they're like, oh, Jalen Hurts shouldn't be in the MVP race because he rushes for more touchdowns than he passes for.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro. Like, for example, everybody has a hard-on for, like, the Bills with Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen's been in the league for, 5 years now? And he's done what? Gone to a couple AFC championship games? And
I did feel bad for the memes about him about that.
Or one AFC championship game?
Them shit, yeah.
look, bro, he plays for the Bills. The Bills went to the Super Bowl 3 straight years and lost 3 straight times.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you want from me. You know, the Bills, the Josh Allen is a good quarterback, but guess what? He's still young. He's still going to make mistakes. And what's crazy about it is Jalen Hurts is a younger quarterback than he is, making less mistakes than Josh Allen is, and then yet the media's like, Josh Allen's right up there with Mahomes. It's like, bro, we're not talking about they're not talking about, like, remember when like Brady versus Manning, like Peyton, right? And they're like, oh, Peyton Manning is not on Brady's level. He throws too many interceptions.
Right? Yeah.
And then Peyton Manning became the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. They're trying to put Josh Allen in that. Well, a lot of people think Joe Burrow's the Peyton Manning, like the reincarnated Peyton Manning. But yeah, they're trying to say stuff like that. They're like, oh, you just gotta give him time. Yeah. I'm like, but how much more time? Like what doesn't make sense to me is this: Stephon Diggs went to the Bills a couple of years ago, and they haven't made a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts gets AJ Brown, and they go to the Super Bowl that same year.
Yeah.
What more can we do? Like, what more? Literally, like I guarantee you, if the Eagles won 55-0 in the Super Bowl, you know what the first thing out in the media is going to be on ESPN? Well, Pat Mahomes was on a bum ankle and he doesn't have the talent to really succeed, and the Eagles they're good enough to beat them today, but if you give Pat Mahomes the cheetah back and you give him back his D line and a good secondary, oh man, you
can't get any credit. And that's the thing, is like, especially now, like being like, I guess, like full swing and everything. Like when we were first doing all this, I didn't fully understand. Like I knew people discounted Philly just in general.
Yeah.
But now being like in the swing of things in the circle, like I get it, and it's really annoying because these guys will beat these teams.
Yeah.
And handle them.
Yeah.
The last game, I can't. 49ers. Thank you. We handled that very well.
Yeah, and then everyone wants to say, well, you didn't play Brock Purdy because. Okay, this is the thing, though. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's just take a big step back to a couple years ago when Carson Wentz got hurt in the 2019 wild card game.
When did he get hurt?
Right. But he got hurt. Literally, like a cheap shot, falling, got hit in the back of his head, got a concussion, couldn't come back in the game.
Yeah.
We had to play with Josh McCown, and we lose, and then everyone's like, "Yep, Eagles weren't going to go anywhere anyway." And then Brock Purdy gets hurt in the NFC Championship game, and it wasn't a cheap hit. It wasn't an intentional thing.
Yeah.
It was just a freak play. He gets hit right in the elbow, okay. If you really want my honest opinion, I personally think Brock Purdy was playing a little bit more for his stock or thinking a little bit more about his future, about his stock than that game.
Yeah.
And you can't really blame him.
Yeah.
Because like, you're a rookie quarterback playing in the NFC Championship game against the number 1 team in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And you're what? And then you get hurt, and maybe he really, of course his elbow hurt, and I don't know if he tore anything. I don't know if he tore anything in it or if he, like, whatever. But he got evaluated and he was tossing some balls on the sideline, and then he went over to his coach and said, you could read his lips, and he said, I can't throw. To me, that looks like a rookie quarterback going like, I'm not getting paid to end my career on a 1 year. I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit this game out until you absolutely need me. They brought in Josh Johnson. He comes in. He gets hurt. Freak play, concussion. Okay. He smacks his head against the ground. It's like, he pulls a Tua. It's like, okay. It's like, okay, well.
That was a bad break.
Then what are you going to do? The 49ers are going through players left, right, and center, and it's like they want to use that as the reason why they lost. Okay, but what about their entire defense that didn't get hurt that game, with the exception of Joey Bosa?
I didn't think about that at all. Yeah.
Nick Bosa gets hurt on the sideline on another freak play.
Yeah.
That was started by his teammate, but then he comes back in the game anyway. Still not 100%. But what about the secondary? What about the linebackers? What about the rest of the D line? What about your all-star, 5-star left tackle and you know what I mean, like Trent Williams? Like,
that's so frustrating.
What about your offensive line not being able to just stop our D line?
Yeah.
Like, these are things not talked about, and it's like, I don't care.
Because they don't want to. And I wish I would have solved this earlier and been in the loop when you were first talking about it, because it infuriates me now, but it would have made me even more mad years ago when we first started this. We're talking about it because now I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But it's so frustrating because it's like if you're on our end over here in Philly, it's like, okay, we're birds, yada yada yada. We're ride or die, but then you have like people just talking smack, and it's always something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely infuriating because it's like people have the Eagles winning or whatever it is, but there's always that. They're gonna do this, or they're gonna whatever, or like exactly that. We win, say we win 55-0. Pat Mahomes' bad ankle, or like bad play calling, or the refs were just on Philly's side, or.
And I do definitely think that they have the Bengals fans have a legitimate case of saying the refs were on the Chiefs' side because there was a lot not called on the Bengals side.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
there
was
all over Twitter. It was
a
all
lot
over Twitter.
not called, and
Yeah.
like that's the hard part about having like officials have that much power in the game, like
So how do you think they could fix that? I mean, like obviously, like we're not NFL officials or anything like that. Like, how would you, if you were in the NFL and you could run all this stuff, how would you fix that?
All right, so it's so difficult because like no matter what you do, you're going to be kind of like cheapskating somebody. So like you don't want to say, like if it was me, I'd probably say like, okay, let's say you're on your own 20 and you throw a 45-yard pass and it's pass interference.
Sure. Okay.
Right? I necessarily don't think that should be a spot foul. I think it should be a 15-yard gain.
Interesting. Okay.
So like if you're on your own 10-yard line and you yeet the ball down to the fucking other 45 or the other 35, and it's called pass interference, I don't think you should just automatically go to that spot. I think it should just be a 15-yard penalty. You get moved up to your 25, and then you 1st and 10. You know what I'm saying? Roughing the passer should be like a 10-yard penalty.
Interesting.
Because like if you think about it, especially with how soft the NFL is getting, like with you hit the quarterback at all, really, you're like, oh shit, passer
That's
or
also
roughing
been a
the
big
passer.
thing in the past couple of years too. Is like you have these like 260-pound men who run like a 3.0 40. I know that's exaggerated, but like I'm saying, like they run a wild 40.
Yeah.
These guys are quick off the ball. They beat the guard. They beat the center. They beat the tackle. They're running full speed. It's hard to just stop on a dime and not hit the quarterback.
And it's also like they're not even hitting them as hard as they could.
Yeah.
Like you look at how Ray Lewis used to hit, how Ed Reed used to hit, Brian Urlacher, Clay Matthews.
All right,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like even Fred Warner. Like you got to look at how these guys are popping people. And a couple like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you look at it now and they're like grabbing them and putting them on the ground, and they're like, oh well, it's too hard, man. And that's all. And I get it. It's all in player safety. Because you don't want to see anybody get hurt, and that's the number one thing.
Especially with the whole Hamlin thing too.
That's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, everyone's like, I'm a Philly fan, so I hate Dallas. But like at the end of the day, if Dak Prescott like snaps his leg again playing us, or like gets severely concussed, I'm gonna feel bad for the guy. Like I feel bad for Tony Pollard, playing in a huge game, trying to get your team to the playoffs, get injured because of which they're trying to now ban the kind of tackle that happened when he snapped his leg in his ankle in the game. It's like if you're gonna play a contact sport like football, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't go based on the anomalies. You got to go based on the overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't like okay, if we're in the kitchen and we're making food and we're cutting it with a knife and I cut my finger open, you're not gonna ban knives because I cut my finger but nobody else did.
Yeah.
So when was the last time you saw in hockey, dude gets his tooth knocked out, and he's like, and then the NHL is like, well, now there's no fighting in the NHL. You know what I mean? Like they fucking fist fight each other.
And a lot of the times the refs will like let it happen. Like they'll.
It's a condoned thing. You go, all right, let's see what you got, and then they break it up, and it's like.
And people been complaining about that for years now. Like it's getting too soft, or there are certain things that like the whole targeting thing. I get, and we've been having some. Like especially of recent, these wild injuries. But people watch football. Like some of the biggest highlights people always bring up is like Ray Lewis or Urlacher.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what gets people excited. Like yes, you don't want to see someone get hurt, but watching someone get decked out,
it's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Which
like, you said before we were recording, the NFL's an entertainment industry.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right, and it's the same way with all professional sports. in any professional sport, you want to see a pop. You want to see in baseball, you want to see a home run. In NBA, you want to see a dunk. You know what I'm saying? In the NHL, you want to see a crazy like swim move, slap shot goal.
Yeah.
In soccer or football, you want to see a crazy
We beat UK.
Yeah, soccer. We want to see a crazy, like insanely talented dribble play into a crazy goal, like a long distance goal. You in football, you want to see big hits, big touchdowns, big moments. Yeah. And it's like at the end of the day, what's going to happen is like they're going to have to come to a decision where it's like you either take all the contact out of the sport, or you just keep it how it is, and you deal with the injuries as they come. Because at the end of the day, you're as an NFL player, right? You're signing a contract saying, "Hey, I'm going to put my body on the line for this amount of money for this amount of time." And I'm subject to injury. Like, I'm subject to what happens.
But people break their ankle just walking down steps, or
I know
they fall in the shower. Like,
it happens, and yet you're getting tackled by 180 to 260 pound, sometimes 300 pound men.
Yeah,
you're going to get hurt.
Like, look at that was cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
Just look at Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb in college had snapped his knee. Like, he came down and his knee hyperextended and bent inward. And guess what? He didn't cry and bitch and complain. He came back from it and went to the NFL and is now one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he gets hurt in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey always has hamstring problems, ACL problems.
Yeah, I would. It's actually really good.
Keeps coming back, keeps playing.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson is playing with a torn rotator cuff.
I do not know.
He's playing with a crazy severe injury, still playing the game, and it's like,
well, that's what I feel about the UFC is like you look at something like this, right? And this is why the UFC is even meant more massive than it was years ago. It's like you have people want to see fighting, they want to see action.
They want to see someone get knocked out.
Yeah. That's people want to see. They want to see Francis Ngannou load on to some guy and just knock him out. And like, I'm not saying I want to see people get injured or get messed up and like not be able to like.
But you do in the UFC. You want to see somebody get bloody.
I'm saying more in the NFL. I should have clarified that. But I'm just saying like in the UFC, yes. In the NFL, you don't want to see someone get like messed up. Like I would hate to see Dak Prescott or like Josh Allen or someone like that, or because
Stephon Diggs takes away from, it also takes away from the sport. Like for example, right? Yeah, we beat the 49ers. Yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm so elated about that. But at the same time, I did want to see the best versus the best. Like the best in the NFC versus the best in the NFC. I wanted to see if we go to the Super Bowl and Pat Mahomes gets hurt. And then it's like it kind of waters down the game because now it's like I want to see even like listen, for me personally, everyone was like, "Oh, thank God we didn't play Dallas because we might not have beat Dallas in the NFC Championship game." And it's like, bro, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Whether we win or lose, one, it's a game. Number two, you're going to watch next year. Like they're not. If we like, for example, if we were lost to the Niners, or if we would have played the Cowboys and lost to the Cowboys, or lost to the Giants, we would have sucked, and it would have been really hard for a couple months to deal with and like feel bad about maybe. But like then preseason starts and you're like, oh yeah, I fucking love the Eagles again. And it's the same thing that happened. Like, bro, we just came off a 4-12 in 1 year in 2020.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think is like we were in a rebuilding stage of the franchise, and then people are like, oh well, the Eagles aren't nothing. We're not supposed to be nothing. Yeah. But then Howie Roseman went out and said, you know what? I'm about to drop a bag, get all this talent because we're going to the fucking Super Bowl. And guess what we do? Go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But if we would have lost, it's like, even though you still can't discredit what happened. Well, because look at what Chris Sims said. Chris Sims said if you put Gardner Minshew in this offense, the Eagles are still a really good team.
Yeah.
He was proven to be a liar because as soon as Gardner Minshew had to play 2 games back to back, guess what?
They
lost back to back.
Well, people were like saying, "Do you think Gardner Minshew can pull it out?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, he's going to do it." I'm like, I don't know. And then it was hard to watch, and I don't know if I didn't see anything from Hurts, but like people were like, and I feel bad for him for this exact reason because of the fact that he's in the Philly sport. It is hard, and people have said this. It is hard to play in a Philly sport and be bad or do something wrong because not only do you get ragged on by the entire of the NFL or whatever. Yeah. But your own city is legitimately spitting in your face. So, like, I do feel bad on that account. But No, I'm glad like Hurts was back. I'm glad we're going to the NFL. Or
Wow.
Jesus,
Going to the Super Bowl.
we're going to the World Series.
We're going to the fucking Stanley Cup
Cup.
Finals.
No, I'm glad we're going to the I almost said World Series. I'm glad we're going to the Super Bowl. But like it has been good to really see this like the whole thing this year kind of progress because again like a whole rebuilding year turns into a
Listen, when we
Super Bowl.
went 4-12-1, a lot of people knew the season was over about the week 6 mark, week 8 mark.
Yeah. I remember you saying that too.
Wentz was really bad. And as somebody that really stuck up for Wentz a lot,
Specifically, you did the one night here.
I did. But let's let bygones be bygones. That was way too long ago to care about.
Fair. I just think it's funny.
Yeah. Carson Wentz could have been really good, and
Yes.
he was really good. The problem was, I think legitimately, Carson Wentz wasn't mentally strong enough to handle what happened because,
Yeah.
and that's not a diss to him. It would be extremely hard to imagine, like what do you do if you're
He
at
got
work?
hurt a lot too.
Right, but I'm saying, what do you do if you're at work? And you're cooking it up in the kitchen. You're chefing it up. You're just balling out. You're getting these tickets out left, right, and center. Everything's going good. And everything's running smoothly. And then you slice your hand open. You can't work for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then you watch, your kitchen hit like then all of a sudden like Fox News comes and everyone's elated and they're like, this is the best restaurant ever, and you're not there to celebrate with everybody, right? Or you got to just kind of stand there on the side while they were like, let's watch these guys how they cook, and you're just watching them all performing excellently,
Yeah.
right? And
No,
then
it'd be a little rough.
they outrank the number one other kitchen from last year, and then
Yeah.
the number one, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's picture except for you is in the paper, and they're like holding up the trophy like. That would be hard to
That'd
come
be
back
really
from
hard,
that, right?
Yeah.
And
Especially from a Philly sport too, like I said.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so he came back the next year, and he still wasn't 100%. And then what I think the organization did wrong was they put up a statue right away, which I get it. They were excited. It was a crazy thing. I don't think the statue should have gone up that fast.
You don't think so?
I don't, because think about it. It would have been different if you would have had Doug Peterson holding the trophy and made that a thing.
Yeah.
It would have been different
Dougie P.
if you just had a big statue of the trophy.
Yeah.
It would have been different if you made a statue of like almost anybody else. But because you had to do it for Nick Foles and Dougie P, now every day that Carson Wentz walked into work, he had to look at that. He had to look at the banner.
I
he
didn't
had to look,
think about
He had to look
that.
at the statue. He had to look at all these fans wearing number 9. He had to look at. He's go Big Dick Nick, Big Dick Nick, and then he's on the sideline, and Nick Foles is like, "Hey man, like I'm your number 2, like I'm your guy," and then he's like, "All right, cool." As soon as Carson Wentz screws up, let's try Nick Foles out, and then Nick Foles isn't
Pennsylvania's
playing.
over now.
Right.
Big Dick Nick. Yeah.
Now Nick Foles isn't playing well, and now they go back to Carson Wentz, and now Wentz is looking at it like, "Well, you don't need me. What do I have to play well for?" Still tries to play well. 2018 doesn't go as expected. Carson Wentz gets hurt again going into the playoffs.
Dude, I feel so bad for him, man. Like he was just left, right, and center. Like,
And he was a problem in the locker room. I mean, apparently he was a problem.
Really, I didn't
Yeah.
know this at all.
Yeah, apparently he was like super, and this is why I say he wasn't mentally tough enough. He was like super egotistical, had a lot of problems being like a team player. A lot of the players on the team had to tell him like, "Yo, dog, this is a team. This isn't a me." And that's what I'm saying. I think as soon as he didn't win that Super Bowl for us, I think he kind of went off the deep end a little bit with his with his mentality, and then he kind of became toxic.
Yeah, you really gotta be careful with Philly sports. And I keep saying this. It's like, look, okay, switch gears a little bit. Look at Ben Simmons. Yeah, like not only was he a complete and utter train wreck for us. I was gonna use a different word, but
He was good, and then he wasn't.
But you have to remember, like, dude, I have never seen. That's not true. I have in a little bit. I haven't seen people from Philly just dog on someone that hard.
Yeah.
Cause like he was being a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
But like I almost felt bad for him at one point because I'm like, dude, like this is just the wrong city.
Well, what's weird about it was
to be that guy.
He was making the All-Star games year after year after year, not having a jump shot, and that like it takes skill to do that. But with Ben Simmons, I personally think he wants to be he wants the money and the fame of being an athlete, like a professional athlete, without being. I don't think he loves basketball.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he loves playing the sport of basketball.
Are you obsessed?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think he has that drive in him.
Yeah.
Because you just kind of see it with how he plays. It's
Yeah.
like he's playing, and then like that pass against the Hawks, you should never have passed that.
Yeah.
And then you look at it, and they trade him to the Nets, and he's like, you know what? Me, Kyrie, and KD, we're gonna ball out on the Nets, and they didn't. And now Kyrie's requesting a trade. Kyrie also, by the way, is somebody that I think really, really is kind of living in the limelight a little bit of like his past accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Like you look
dangerous.
at all right,
That's dangerous.
You look at Kyrie, right? Every year that he was with LeBron, he made the finals.
Yeah.
Has he made the finals since?
I don't think so. I don't follow
He
basketball all that much.
He goes to the Celtics, and then he's dog shit on the Celtics. And he gets hurt all the time, and then he gets traded. Then he plays like 100 games for the Celtics. Doesn't play well. Like he plays decent. Gets into the playoffs. Gets hurt. Then he gets traded to the Nets after a couple years, and then he goes to the Nets, and they're supposed to be it's him, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Like they're supposed to be the best big three in the league. They play a total of 16 games together in their entire 2-year span, and they won one playoff game or one playoff series. And then James Harden gets traded to Philly. We're good with him, and now Kyrie's like, he blamed James Harden for not being fully invested in the team. And then this year, in the middle of the season, or towards the end of the season, I guess, he has a press conference where he requests a trade at the end of the season.
Damn.
And then KD's not staying on that dumpster fire team.
That's also
who's
true.
he going to stay with? Who's he got?
Yeah.
He got Seth Curry and Ben Simmons. What do you do with that? You got a guy that only shoots threes, and then you got another guy that doesn't shoot the ball at all. He plays 15 minutes. He has 4 points and 6 fouls. He fouled out of his first game as a net.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, fouled out of his first game. He played against Philly, and they were supposed to be Ben Simmons coming back to Philly. Let's see what he does. Guess what? Didn't do much. Oh, but guess what? Joel Embiid, best center in the league, in my personal opinion. Him and he clearly outclassed Jokic the last time that they played against each other. Literally hitting the game-winning shot over Jokic. Didn't even make the. He's not in the top 5 for MVP. He's not. He didn't make the All-Star team.
Damn.
He didn't even make. He didn't make. How do you not make the All-Star? Like how do you like the number either the number 1 or number 2 center in the entire league, and they're like, nah. James Harden isn't even an All-Star reserve player.
Wait, really?
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, they have it out for Philly, man. Like I don't know, every Philly sport that
I would have thought he would have at least been. Wow.
Yeah, dude. And like that's what I'm saying with Jalen Hurts. Kind of taking it back to that is kind of the same thing. Is it's like Jalen Hurts has the same numbers almost with that Pat Mahomes has, with the exception of passing touchdowns. Pat Mahomes has 45 touchdowns or 48 touchdowns this year or something like that. Jalen Hurts has 38 or 35. And the majority of those are running it's like 24 passing touchdowns or 26 passing touchdowns, I think. And the rest are rushing. Like 15 rushing touchdowns, including
I thought they were American.
including the playoffs. But Jalen Hurts just broke the all-time record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in the NFL, breaking Cam Newton's record in 2011. And then you look at the numbers, and then you look at all the numbers of the past 5 MVPs.
Yeah.
And guess what? Including Jalen Hurts, so they're all almost identical in terms of passing yards per game, completion percentage, attempts per game, wins, QBR, and then everyone's like, and then you got some dumbass like Nick Wright on Undisputed or whatever, and he's like, Jalen Hurts is not an MVP caliber player. He's never like
it's because they hate Philly. This is like if it was anyone else, if it was Pat Mahomes, if it was Josh Allen, if it was Joe Burrow, if whoever, Trevor Lawrence, like you can sit here all day. It wouldn't. It's because it's Philly.
Yeah.
Now I see, not right at this moment, but like I see why years ago you would get so tight, but like they really do hate Philly.
And I don't really know why.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey man, listen. At the end of the day, the NFL is scripted, so
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll touch on that for the last little wrap up.
I don't think. Listen, I'm gonna say if I don't think the NFL would be scripted. I mean, it could be. It could just be like WWE. You know what I'm saying? Who I mean, even though the WWE is fake, still going out there and doing it.
Well, yeah,
and still getting hurt. Still, you know what I'm saying? And
I mean,
you don't see that. That's the other thing. You don't see the WWE wrestlers coming out and saying, "Oh, I don't want to perform this move anymore because I broke my fucking back doing it last year."
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm going to come out and do it the first move I do.
McMahon broke. You told me a while ago
He tore both of his quads jumping into the ring back in 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I forget who said it, and I'll put it up for everyone. But he was on a podcast. He was an old running back. I can't remember his name at this current moment. I should have looked it up before we started this. But yeah, he was like, yeah, everything's scripted. Like you could get your script for the preseason, and then you're working on it, and then
they broke it down by week apparently. Yeah. That would be crazy though. Although I don't think, number one, if it does come out that it's true and it was scripted this whole time, it would let me be a lot less invested in football.
Without a doubt, yeah.
But it would still be entertaining.
Well, yeah, and like I said earlier, like you said before we started recording, was the NFL is considered an entertainment organization.
Yeah,
so
it's entertainment industry, and it's the same way that the WWE is. Like it goes hand in hand. You look at the WWE, and you got guys that in the ring or on the shows and stuff. They're a character. They're a persona. They're a person. Like they're a character. They don't use their real names most of the time, and they wrestle other dudes for championships. And yeah, guess what? They rehearse all their moves with each other. They make sure they trust each other, and then they go, all right, let's practice some of this. They look and they say, okay, this is what we got go. This is the script. Me and you are going to wrestle at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, and this is how we want the match to go. You're going to win. You're going to take.
I grab the briefcase.
Yeah, you're going to take my title.
And
then we're gonna riff a little bit in the ring and make sure the crowd loves it. And then guess what? You're gonna hit me for the 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna go back into the locker room and we're gonna hug.
Yeah,
like John Cena and Randy Orton hated each other, right? Guess what? In real life, they're best friends.
Yeah,
So it's like if the NFL came out and said,
"Whoa, Randy Orton,
watch out, okay." But if it comes out and they're like, "Oh, the NFL is rigged," honestly, I'd be like, "Cool." Because now at least I can say, oh, the Dolphins win the Super Bowl. Well, I guess they don't. Because then it's like you look at it, you can say, oh, and then you can say, then you would be cool to be kind of funny to be like somebody like snaps their leg in half. That wasn't part of the script, folks.
Well, he was saying like I was supposed to like get injured and like this season or whatever,
like quote unquote injured. Yeah.
But what I love most about this is the memes.
Oh my god! Yeah.
It's like the one that you I forget what the one that you showed me, but it was Aaron Hernandez
in 2013 reading a script,
or like Michael Vick's dog reading the script, or it was like Tom Brady seeing I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
Walking into
Matt Ryan walking into the reading for Super Bowl.
And he's just like
51. He's like
yeah. But no, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised as much, but I would be definitely less interested.
I don't think I would be surprised at all if like almost every sport was kind of rigged in some way.
If the UFC's rigged?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if the UFC was like, I don't know how much you can really rig it per se, but unless it was like you like Dana came to John Jones or well, he hasn't lost really, but I'm saying like if you came to Conor McGregor and you're like, all right, Conor, look, you've been the top guy now in our company for a long time. No matter what, you can piss in the fucking octagon and you'll get money. Like you'll get millions of dollars. We need to be Dustin Poirier is just kind of he's just working his ass off. He needs something. Look. Make it look good. We'll go out there. You're going to make an extra 20 or 10, 5, 2 million, whatever, on top of your purse. Just go out there, make it look good, take a fall. And Conor snaps his ankle. Like,
oh, he snapped that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
I know.
Or it's like something like that where it's like, that would be kind of far-fetched for the UFC. Really sorry, Joe Rogan, if you're watching this. No disrespect to the sport. But I just think I think if every sport came out and said, you know what, like in baseball, the umpires are rigged and they make certain calls or whatever against certain teams at certain times, or NFL scripted, the NBA is like, scripted or whatever. Honestly, man, it would it really wouldn't it wouldn't shock me, and it wouldn't really change how I would still watch. I guess I just would kind of treat it like it's like wrestling. Like, I used to be enthralled with wrestling as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting back into it a little bit now. Not like anything crazy, but I'll watch some clips and stuff on Twitter if I see them.
Yeah.
And it entertains me. I'd probably be the same way with football. I'd probably still watch the games and all, but I wouldn't be super crazy about it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, man. I mean, if it's not, then and no disrespect to the players that put
fact. I mean, you still have to play the game. You still have to hit.
Yeah, you still got to.
It's not
It's the same way in wrestling. I keep bringing it up, but it's the same thing. They say it all the time. Yeah, it might be scripted, but it's because it's entertainment. It's a form of television.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm still picking up a 300-pound man and slamming him, or he's picking me up and slamming me on concrete, or I still tore my shoulder off the bone because, or dislocated my shoulder because I did this one move, and stuff like that. Sid Vicious jumping off the second rope for a hit, snaps his leg, half whack, done. That was real. The injuries are all real, and it's just the athletes are really athletes. Yeah. It's just a matter of it's just predetermined, and that's literally it. Yeah.
But we are now at 43 minutes, my friends.
Yeah, we kind of went long on that.
It's all right. But don't say it. Don't say it.
I digress.
There it is. 12th Super Bowl. Eagles gonna win.
6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square.
Because you're not around. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you.